All right. What's up? What's up, everybody? We back. Been looking forward to this one. This is a recap of me and Mr. Locklear's trip out there to upstate New York with Brendan at Sedona Farms. We had a great time. But yeah, let's jump. Glad to have you guys on. How's it? How are you guys doing? What's going on with you guys?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Really good, finally put one
Yeah,
down yesterday.
yeah. We're looking forward to hearing the whole recap of that.
uh Happened so fast. That was the craziest thing, but you guys know how that is.
Yeah.
All the glory's over. I caped them out.
Yeah, sometimes it's bittersweet, ain't it?
It is. I couldn't patrol them around town anymore.
Yeah, you
So
only have so much time to do that.
I had to
so
borrow someone's Dodge 98 Dodge Neon to strap it to the top. Got to really show it off.
So I'm going to start this out, CJ. Why don't you just kind of tell us your personal experience of, going out there to stay with Brendan and doing some hunting out there, and so give us a
Oh,
rundown of your personal with how you felt it went and stuff like that.
well, I had an awesome time to say the least. In the beginning, um, of course, there was a lot of unknowns in that situation considered, all our circumstances. But once getting there, first of all, New York, upstate New York, and that countryside is just unbelievably beautiful. And so, for those that hadn't got an opportunity to visit that part of the country, you're missing something. And so, just the farm there is just a beautiful place that they have there, and just and the welcoming from the family, from
Yeah,
Brendan and Lexi, Lizzie. They welcomed us.
Double.
yeah, without a doubt, they were. I mean, it was the hospitality was beyond what I expected, and I mean, I kind of wish they would have just relaxed a little bit and enjoyed. I don't, enjoyed the moment we were enjoying because it seemed like they were just too worried about us, and we were having a great time. But they were above and beyond. Like, and again, I agree completely. I was very blown away. There are some big deer in upstate New York, so I stand corrected with the no deer in New York statement that I made at one point in time. Um, but and then looking forward to also, this it I see it more as a relationship, a long-term relationship that we've made, because I mean, I feel like we all hit it off, we all got along great. And I see many more hunts in many different areas coming in our future with the three of us, and then expanding on that.
And we got Texas in about a month too, so that was pretty quick.
Yeah, that's what the bright and early coffee guys, right? That's the owners of the property, is the bright and early coffee company.
They're an amazing family. They're great people, great company, great product, everything. Honestly, like, not just saying that to say it, but they truly are great friends and open their arms to us to go there and have a good time. So, and they went on its own this weekend, and Riggs and Bowstring went down there to put new feeders up and put a couple thousand pounds of corn down and get everything routed up and good to go, and put some tats cams up, and it's go time. Let's see what happens here in the next month before we get a chance to get out there and have a good time. Get you back
Yeah.
to your origins.
Yes, I seen Bowstring had some car trouble. He's the green miles for sale, by the way, if anybody's looking for a F-350.
For sale picture, his profile for sale picture for it was it broken down on the side of the road and flashers on.
uh, but
Well,
kind of back to
hopefully the
oh,
weather works a little better for that trip coming up in December, considering, like you said, we did get to see. I mean, you personally got to take an opportunity at one of those big New York bucks, and then one of Brendan's friends, I think it's Austin, that brought in his eight
yeah,
point buck.
yeah,
So
big body deer, man, big body. What was it, 236? I think that deer was 236 pounds.
236 or something around there.
And then your boy, the Texas Hammer, shit the bed. Had a beautiful opportunity at a buck. I mean, the whole experience though was unreal. I'm actually glad that Brandon was there with me to witness it, because that's one of those stories that when you tell it, it isn't the same as somebody sitting there next to you experience it. I think he was probably more excited than me through most of it.
Fucked it all up. Stop shaking. When I grunted at him, he turned and he started walking. I go, get up. He's fucking coming. And when it was like, for real, I'm like, get the fuck up and get your bow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just looked like a fucking Mini Cooper walking through the woods.
Yeah.
He was
That was a fact. I mean, he was a big deer, and then he came in on the side where I didn't have a good, I couldn't see him through the brush. And he's like, he's right there. He's right there. So I'm looking and looking, and then I start seeing him. Then I'm stood up by then, and I see him, and there's stuff in the way. So I have to, then he's coming around behind me, which is in front of Brendan, the way we're sitting in the tree. And I have to reposition myself. This is the fun of archery. You get set up in one spot, and then I had to twist all the way around to the other side and get to where I could shoot behind me. And by then he had moved up into some brush. And I knew at that point he was coming. He was probably 6 or 8 feet from coming out into a wide open, beautiful shot. So that was the time to draw. So I drew my bow back. As soon as I draw my bow back, I hit the freaking hanger that my bow was hanging on. And it wasn't the loudest noise, but caught his attention, and he locked in on me. And I mean, easily 2.5 minutes that I probably stood there at full draw.
It was 2 minutes and 39 seconds you were at draw.
Looking at this deer, and when we all looking back at it now, it's probably a shot that maybe I should have just let down and blew him out, but I made a decision to take the shot. Didn't hit him good. It looked better in the moment. It looked way better than when we seen later. But the good thing is he's up. He's still kicking ass. He took it like a champ. He's like, and that deer, I mean, easily was 300 pounds. I mean, we didn't obviously get to see that, but there's no doubt in my mind that deer was 300 pounds.
Yeah, he's definitely a big boy. And like you said, it's amazing how these big bucks can take a shot like that and keep coming back.
Yeah. And prime time like that, I mean, prime age for that deer, that's the perfect deer you want to take if you're trying to do any kind. I mean, that I was guessing 7 or 8 years. That deer is definitely up in his years. He's definitely on the downfall. And I can only imagine that deer at 4 and 5 years old. That dude was a stud. Like, that dude was kicking some ass out there.
That's why he's named the Bully.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fact. You were telling everybody that the bully was dead, which, I mean, there was a good blood trail too. We found some good blood, and then it just went away.
Many people I told that they're all like, the bully one, because I was like, I wanted him to shoot that one.
But it was a super cool experience. It's one of those experiences that, you'll remember the rest of your life. You'll look back, and that'll be one of those stories you'll be telling your grandkids, and your great grandkids will be hearing from them. And
one time the Texas Hammer fucked up. This is what happened.
The Texas Hammer shit the bed on that one. So, Bowstring Nate, I owe you. I'm gonna have to make up for it. CJ kind of made up for it though. He brought home some meat.
Did bring some on the plane too.
Right. So walk us through your so you killed almost as legendary as the bully. You killed the hunt wrecker. That fucking doe everybody wanted to kill that doe because she's the doe that blew everybody out when they went to that area, and you got it done.
Well, she definitely had our number. I was on my way in when you shot your buck, and I got there a day later than you, and that got me pretty pumped. I was like, here we are, I ain't even got there yet. Wendell's got one on the ground. We're gonna focus on me. We're gonna get, me and the crew's gonna find one. We're gonna get it done twice. And so, not knowing that the weather was going to just take a turn and just head south on us. And so it took a number of days, but we had a spot there. Brendan, what do you call that spot there where I shot that doe?
Secret spot or the gold mine?
Is that what you call it? The gold mine?
gold mine out back in the alfalfa field.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful setup. I love your setup there. You got the ground blind there, two log homes at one location, another lean and sand, and so plenty of opportunity to hunt the wind or ever how you see fit to fit that, and nice food plot. And so it was really nice sitting in that stand. And so you guys had told me about the doe that would come in there and bust you, and lo and behold, the first day I go in there, I hadn't even got my bow off of the hanger there, and she just comes running in at me. So she busts me. She knows I'm coming, and she probably spent 25 minutes looking at me, staring at me within 25 yards, and I never could get my arrow knocked and get a shot off on her. So she won that day. And might have hunted another time or two, and I think you got an opportunity at a turkey out of that stand. But the next time I went, I did see a nice, real nice mature buck in the woods, but like I said, the weather just had us all messed up and it wouldn't come out. But I was ready for the second time, and so it was kind of later in the evening. I'd seen, actually saw a really big, beautiful red fox that came up on me, and had a few encounters with some small bucks, and then right about perfect timing, it was probably 25, 30 minutes before it was time to finish hunting, and she comes out. And so I was ready for her this time. So lo and behold, she gives me that 30-yard shot, man, and I put the smack down on her. So
Yeah,
I was,
for
I
sure.
was glad to get some meat.
For sure. She didn't,
This size hole for her.
oh yeah. And it's always great when you see them, when you get down and you can see them down, like it definitely puts you at ease when you can see that they're down and they're over there and it's over. There's no looking. Uh,
Well, I knew the shot was good, right? I mean, I had the thump. It was where I aimed. I didn't hit no limbs. Everything went good, and she kind of staggered like an old drunk running out of there, out of an old bar or something. And but I didn't know exactly where she went, and so I waited the 10 or 15 minutes and went down and did what I was supposed to do, as if I didn't know where she was. And she was just spewing blood everywhere, and I got about 30 yards, and I saw her laying in the field. So that is definitely a comforting feeling.
what,
When you can
what, what was
see
it
it.
like carrying your first deer on the airplane?
Backpack.
Well, I was a little nervous, to be honest with you.
I was nervous for both of us and I wasn't carrying it.
But you know, the rules didn't say you couldn't, and believe it or not, when I went through the checkpoint there, they did screen it, pull it aside, and the lady asked me, she's like, "What kind of ground up meat you got in here?" And I was like,
My ex-wife.
"Yeah, I don't think it's time to be joking around at the TSA counter when you got ground up meat in your bag."
No, probably not. That's probably a good choice.
Old Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
DJ Dahmer.
But it all went well. Had a good flight home, and yeah, I hadn't decided what to do with it yet, but I definitely brought home some good old New York good taste and doe venison. So I'm ready to tear into it probably this weekend, get some of it. So
I mean, if it's anything like that backstrap or that meat that he had made for those tacos that night and stuff, man, that was some good food right there. I'm guessing that was backstrap, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
You made fajitas with.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that was
That
some
was
good stuff.
that was some awesome meat right there.
I mean,
Big meat
another,
guys. Big meat guys.
yeah, it was, man, dude, it was good. I mean, another thing I would like to say about the experience too was just meeting the group that he's, your friends and your core around there, just great people. Like, I mean, everybody you met was just willing to jump in and help, or, from Eric to Jason, the guy that works with Elite, like, I mean, all those guys, and then, just everybody that came by there was welcoming, easy to talk to, like just one of us basically. So you got a good group around there, man. You got a lot of good things going out there for sure.
It was a big group text to make sure they behaved before they came over.
Well, they did good.
They did. I had to
I
read
don't,
it to them. Well, half of them can't fucking read, but
I think
I had,
you,
I had to send it as a voice text, and then so they had to read it out to themselves. Or else,
yeah,
Eric's wife normally reads his text for him.
I think you forgot to put Big Bob in that group though.
Oh fuck! Kind of Apache boys like down in Texas.
Oh man, Big Bob's my favorite. He's like he just wants to kill them all. He
Yeah,
wants
he
his
does.
he wants
He
all the deer dead.
no love lost on those deer. Kill them all. Well,
Yeah.
straight up in profits.
Yeah, Wendell's like, man, it's so beautiful seeing all these deer. We were coming through the orchard and they're just all over the place. He goes, yeah, fucking kill them all.
I think whenever CJ said something about shooting that doe, he's like, just one? You just shot one? That's it? Oh man.
Of course, you
Oh,
guys come in, the weather hit the shit. And then this past week, since you guys have been gone, temperature dropped, everything dropped, and everyone's killing big bucks around here right now, left and right. And they're laying all over the roads, sadly, but it's on. It's on. So
that's
that's why
part
next
of
year,
it.
secure that first week in November, and it's almost a closer of a guarantee to being at that peak time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Our one buddy that didn't get to make it, Dave, he was after seeing pictures and hearing he was chomping at the bit. He was just I think he'd already put in, like I told you, he put in for the first week in November already. He's like, when are we going? When are we going to try to go next time? I'm not missing it this time. But you'll get to meet him
Yeah.
out at when we go out to the Marshall, when we go do the hunt in Marshall. He's going to be able to make that, so he'll be there. But so we got to hear it. But let's hear about the freak. Let's hear the story. CJ wouldn't let me tell him. He said, I'm not going to hear it till we do the podcast.
Yep, I said I didn't want to hear any of them because I knew that's his target book. And when you send pictures, that says it all. But I need to hear the story.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I think it was truly the hangover that got that deer.
His or yours.
But I didn't really want to get up. I started going through the cameras, like, I'm sure you still look at him and do everything too. And I was like, geez, he's a mile away from the stand that you and I sat in and hunted him a couple times when we were trying to shoot the buck that you're after as well. And I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, man, Jason's with me from Elite Archery, and he's like, we're both like looking at it. I'm like, he's got to cut up this creek bottom. He's got to cross the road, because where he was, it was houses, main road, open field, creek bottom thicket, orchard. I could see right down the orchards and see that he wasn't there. I'm like, he's got to come up across through and shoot over and head south and go into one of the orchards right there, because there was a doe earlier with your bully buck. Then he was pushing all the other bucks out of there. So I was like, he's got to be over there. He's got to be over there. So Jason and I regrouped and went back to the house around like 8:15 or so. Then Jason goes, dude, your buck, he's over there. He's in front of your camera. I'm like, no way. And he did exactly what we thought he did. And so we get in the truck and we go flying over there and figure out which way the wind's coming from, come around the other side of the orchard. And we're going, and I'm like looking way down the rows. And Jason goes, holy fuck, he's right there. And I was looking farther down the rows, those really long ones are about a quarter mile apiece. I'm looking way down, and he was laying 30 yards away underneath the tree. So we just kept going past him, and I'm like, holy shit, that's him. He's laying there, grabbed the bow, and Jason stayed right by the truck because we didn't want to make any noise. I snuck back with the bow, counted the rows, peeped over, could see his shoulder laying underneath the tree, and I ranged him. It was 31 yards. I stepped back and tucked my rangefinder in and hooked to the bow, drew, and I stepped over to the lane that he was laying in. Almost the same exact thing that happened with my big 7 I shot. And he turns and just looks straight at me, and 30 yards, I was comfortable with putting, my pins right on his throat and his chest. And Jason goes from the truck. He's like 25, 30 yards away at the truck, and you can just hear the boom. And I just throw my hands up, and I'm like, I smoked him. And he went one row over. Jason's jumping like a 3-year-old kid in a ball pit. And I'm just holding my head and he's just looking at me. And next thing you know, this burly motherfucker just picks me up over his shoulder. And we're both watching. He's just staggering in the row and my buck just fell over and just kicking. And I couldn't believe it. And he was like, my season's done. I don't care. He goes, I have to shoot shit. He goes, that made it for me.
Yeah,
And I didn't even walk up to the buck. I saw he died. He's laying dead in the middle of the row. And I was like, I would wake Elizabeth up because she deals with all my shit 24/7 with this deer shit. And he goes, you're not gonna go look at him? I'm like, no. I was like, I'm gonna go get my wife. I'm gonna go call everybody. And golly, within 30 minutes, there was 20 people at my house waiting.
Wow.
Everyone's drinking coffee at 8:45, 9 o'clock in the morning. Everyone's there drinking beer, hanging out. Everyone wanted to go out there, and we all drove over and got out and walked up to him at the same exact time. And I was just shocked. I couldn't believe I got him. All
Yeah.
those mouse games with that deer, and he moved so much. Like every single night, he was doing a couple miles. Like circling that area with cell cams that's a blessing using the cell cameras.
Yeah.
Some could say it's cheating, but if take it to your advantage or do it how you want. And I wouldn't have known where he was, and I didn't want to go in anywhere and push him because he was gone for a couple days. And next thing you know, 4:40 in the morning, he popped up on the one camera, and then 8 o'clock, he showed up on the other one, 1.5 miles away, and boom,
Yeah.
cut him
I mean,
off.
I wouldn't say it's cheating. I mean, you still gotta, the camera just gives you an idea. And then sometimes the cameras don't play in your favor. Like it also works the other way. Like sometimes you're seeing them and then you get in the stand and you don't see them, you're just like, what the hell's going on? And you're seeing all these other bucks and you're like, where did this guy come from? I've never seen him on a camera. So, I mean, it's a plus or minus game with the whole cameras. Like that time it worked in your favor, but it doesn't always work in your favor. Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't,
Yep.
but
Yep.
the work,
Yeah, and
constant pursuit that you put in is what kind of paid off as you consistently stayed after him,
Yeah, normally try to do that in one target deer, like that freak buck I killed, and I passed up so many other deer because I wanted to shoot that deer so bad. I had such a long past and history with that deer, and the last night, 25 minutes before dark, right there at legal shooting time, I had 15 minutes left, legal shooting time, and their freak stepped out and boom, dropped him with the muzzle loader at 70 yards. Last night, last few minutes, it's normally how it happens, and it just all happened so fast yesterday, and I couldn't believe it. It was just so fast. And who would have thought, if I didn't have Jason in the truck, I wouldn't have saw the fucking deer because I'm just looking all the way down and he was laying right there under the tree. So and it's crazy.
I knew it had happened because, like I said, you called me, and when I finally seen it, I seen 3 missed calls, and I was like, he shot his deer, and it was like I think 6 a.m. here, which was probably 8-ish or so, because we're 2 hours behind, and I was like, he called me 3 times in a row. He shot that deer this morning. And that's the first thing I said when you answered. I was like, you shot him, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment, man, to have a target deer like that. And, until I went up there, I mean, Wendell and I have bow hunted before, but, here in Texas, we get to, do it a little different. So we get to feed and we get to hunt over feeders. But, the way you're doing it there, you're having to put in a lot of homework, a lot of legwork. You come out using those cameras, and you got to use it to every advantage you can, because there's a lot more you got to do right to seal the deal on that. And that's quite an accomplishment to set out to get one particular buck and end up getting him. So kudos to you, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
for sure. Hats off.
Appreciate it. And Liz almost closed on hers the same night. Last night, Jason got in that stand where we hung that camera when you all were here. We hung a setup and right by the shop. And Jason called me, and it was like 45 minutes before dark. And he goes, Lizzie's buck's out in the field. I said, no way. He goes, swear to God, he's out in the field. And Jason's after this one specific buck here. We call him Half Rack. He's got an absolute giant one side, and he's been like it for a couple of years. And then his other side is just like a 6-inch sticker.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but Jason wants to hear now too. I don't know if he likes the big side or he likes the 6 inches. I don't know. But for some reason, that's the deer he's solid on. And he wants, I told him, you can shoot him, you can hunt him, do whatever you want. Go ahead. And he called him. He's like, your wife's in the field. and he's cruising around the goldenrod, pushing these other bucks out of there. He was like, my buck ran back in the thicket. He just got his ass beat. And there's another little one in there. He's got his ass beaten, like 120-inch 8-pointer, 9-pointer. He said he couldn't really tell what it was when it was cruising through. So Elizabeth and I get her bow and everything. We sneak all the way around behind the house, and our wind was perfect. Everything was perfect. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to work. We get tucked in. Jason called me. He goes, he's laying down. And I'm like, okay. So we get in, all set up. She's ready to go. And then next, I grunt a couple times. I snort, wheeze. And all of a sudden, I'm looking left, right. And Jason's like, I don't see him anymore. And Liz just goes, oh my God, I see him. And she's just sitting there shaking. And he started walking right to us, right cutting through the goldenrod, right to us. And I'm like, okay. I was like, if he gets through this clearing, I'm like ranging stuff. I'm like, that sapling right there is 30 yards. And I was like, this one right here, that's 23 yards. Like, just remember, I was like, I'll tell you which pin to use and when to draw. I'll tell you what. And then he stayed behind the little sapling at 30 yards for 20 minutes. And, at that distance, she could definitely have smoked him, but the goldenrod was so tall, all you could see was his head and just it's the big, the big 8 that comes all the way around and almost touches in the front. He was just standing there, and I'm like, I'm shaking now.
Yeah.
She's like all cool, calm, content. I'm fucking shaking like a baby. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to happen. We're going to double up same day. And that would have been her biggest buck to date, especially with the bow.
Yeah.
And, he just hung out, and he was just bobbing and weaving and grunting. And I didn't want to overcall and, spook him and do anything. And he just kind of moseyed off back into the thicket. And Jason was watching him, and then it finally got too dark. So Elizabeth and I just crept right out and got out of there. And sure as shit, he was there again tonight out in that field, but she was doing work, so she wasn't able to hunt. And I just had to sit there and stare at him the whole time out in the field doing the same thing. So hopefully tomorrow we can get it done. We'll see what happens. But like you said, it's not easy here. There's food everywhere and there's cover everywhere, so they can go wherever they want.
Oh man, food, like, just to kind of let the people that are listening to this, the food is unreal there. Like, I mean, there'd be times you'd be hunting cornfield on one side, apples on the other side of the corn, strawberries, what else did you have out there?
Corn,
soybeans. Yeah. I mean, just
and all the rows between the apples, hundreds of acres of the grass that's under it, it's all clover and set grass. So it's just, everything's lush. They can just go and just do it. That's why you hunt different food sources depending on the weather. But you still don't know what they're going to do.
And then on top of that, you've got food plots where you put alfalfa, and you've done your own work to put in your own food plots, which there is no shortage of food, which tells you why they get to be 236 pounds and 300 pounds. And also they got to pack that on for the winter, because y'all have pretty hard winters there, right?
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, last year was kind of mild, but supposedly we'll see what it's going to be this year. Who knows? You never know. But yeah,
we've got our first snow here, and then I think Wednesday we're supposed to get another snow. So we're in that time of the year where the snow starts coming. It's not my favorite time of the year. I'm not a huge winter snow fan, but I'm getting used to it, I guess, living here in Colorado.
I take you as a winter sports kind of guy.
No.
You're skating and a little backcountry skiing.
Yeah. After that shot, I should probably take up something else other than bow hunting, because that's where as bow hunters we question. The questions start creeping in your mind, like, did I shoot enough? Did I practice enough? Did I do this enough? Did I do all that enough? And it doesn't matter. You can do all that to the best of your ability, and those days are still going to happen. There's no controlling. The misses happen, the bad shots happen. That's just part of it that we have to accept.
I truly don't think that it was you hitting that bow on that the bow hanger that scared that buck. I couldn't get my fucking left knee to stop bouncing. I was sitting there talking to myself the whole time. I'm like, please stop. Like, please stop. I'm like I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time. And he's just sitting there glaring at me, and my knees up and down. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
He was damn sure glaring. I mean, I thought he was looking through me at some point,
And we tried to play it smart. Like, we cut in that back trail to get to that stand because we knew a roughly kind of area that he was in. And man, he hit that fucking walk-in scent trail like a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
It,
Yeah.
he was coming right to us, and we, both of us are religious about our, scent control and spraying down and, using fresh raw scents. And I think that might have been one of the factors that kind of saved us a little bit, is using that raw frozen scents urine kind of to
He
cross
definitely
over.
he was definitely on high alert there for a little bit, and then I would have to agree in that circumstance that I think that that spray did chill him out a little bit, but he knew something was up. He just didn't know what was up. He knew something was going on. He just didn't figure out exactly what it was. He just because he was very cautiously moving his way around there.
Yeah, he hit that like a brick wall. Like he stopped in his tracks and then didn't move for probably 5 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's
But
what makes it even harder, because then you got a 300-pound giant 8-pointer at 15 yards in the brush just sitting there, and then I'm shaking. You don't know which side of the tree to shoot on because he's trying to circle us.
right.
There was just so many factors. I don't think it was just the part of maybe a bad placement of a shot, but it was just, that's a smart old deer.
Oh
And
yeah, I was fixing to say, how many times has he been in that situation and gotten out of it in the past?
yeah,
Because there's no doubt in my mind, he was circling around. He was trying to find scent, like he was going around us looking to
yep.
find. He knew something was there, but and again, how many days has that buck been in that situation and outsmarted somebody in a tree?
You probably smell those Texas Bucky wrappers in your fucking pocket.
Think about the next guy that's going to try to kill him, whoever it is. It's going to be even harder next time.
Man, at this point, old age may get that dude.
Yeah, honestly.
He might not have another winter because I mean, when you looked at that picture that he showed when he showed up, like after I'd left, and he showed up in that where he's facing, and you can see the like fat hanging down off his, like the big girth hanging off his neck. That dude I mean, I bet he was 2.5 foot wide, like his across.
Yeah, when he was coming through those bushes, like I could even barely see his rack. All I could see is his chest. And then there goes my left leg. There it goes again. And I'm like, and then here comes the rack. I'm like, that was the first time I encountered that deer that close before. And he was tall. I was like, wow, this deer's a lot bigger than I, thought he was. I've glassed him in the summer from a couple hundred yards away with velvet, so that never really gives you, a good idea how big the buck is. You can get a general idea and think about what he's going to be, but man, that body, excuse me, made his rack look tiny. And then when you shot him and he ran away, we both saw the size of that rack going
Yeah.
up. We were like, holy shit.
Well, hopefully next year hopefully he does make it through the winter, and maybe me and him can have another encounter.
Just put two arrows on your bow next time.
Man, dude, when I say he took it like a champ, like he
Yeah.
literally showed up the next day chasing a doe, like nothing
Yeah.
ever happened.
Same spot, same stand, pushing that other buck out of there when he was with that doe. I couldn't believe it.
Be awesome if he does make it through this winter and he does become a target buck next year. And then, like I said, look and see how hard he is to kill next
Oh
time.
yeah, no doubt. The good thing is though, if he does make it through the winter, I don't see that's his area. There's no doubt that's his area. So finding him's not going to be super hard unless, maybe some young buck actually kicks his ass, which they got a lot of weight to push around if they're going to kick that ass.
Yeah, he kicked my buck's ass all the time. That's why where I knew every time we'd see Bully Buck on camera, you wouldn't see my buck because he always beat everyone's ass.
Well, you had that one video clip of him where he's down eating and your buck comes in behind him and he's like, oh shit. And he kind of, all he does is lift his head up a little bit and your buck's like, fuck that, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Done been there and tried that before, you could tell.
Oh, for sure. He tested those waters.
And then you sent me a picture the other day. Eric's got a big over there, CJ, where I don't know if I sent you that. I'll have to send it to you. Eric checked another one of his cameras where we hunted that one day at Eric's spot.
Yeah.
he's got a heavy horned. Is it an 8 or a 6?
I think it's a 9, to be honest,
Dude, the freaking
because I think he's got some stuff.
the bases on that thing are like that, probably. Like
The
it's
whole
freaking.
thing up. He's huge. He's
Let me
huge.
see if I can text it to you, CJ. Oh, you're on your cell phone.
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah, I don't know if you sent me one.
you? Maybe I can.
That was the spot he's got over there. Himself.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the
Look at that thing.
mass. You see that, CJ?
Hold on one second.
Let Brandon talk, Brandon.
Is it working? Sorry, is it? Can you see it now? I forgot that CJ's on his phone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah,
Look at
he's
the mass on that thing, dude.
yeah, that dude's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But,
Big
you know,
big boy.
Has he been hunting him yet?
no comment. He's got a busy schedule. He's got 3 kids, and his wife and him both work a lot. So, you know, I'm sure you guys know how that is. That
We
9
got
We got
6
the opportunity to be with him because his wife and family was out of town. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he sent them to Disney while you guys came into town, so he was able to do stuff. What a fucking dad.
I will say you stay on his ass pretty good. Oh man. You had me and CJ rolling half the time. You give Eric a lot of shit and he takes it very well.
You got you a good friend.
Oh yeah.
I've been noticing in some of your posts you got a lot of geese flying around out there because y'all mowed all the corn now, right?
Those motherfuckers last night when Liz and I are sitting there trying to shoot this buck, you know, we're trying to communicate back and forth with this deer, and I can hear him moving through the goldenrod, and then there's 500-600 geese at a time landing in the field right next to us. So then now you can't hear anything. The deer's not going to hear us, but we can't hear him. And that was where I was, you know, first knew where he was coming from, because you could hear him snapping through the goldenrod. And next thing you know, you look up, there's a cloud of mallards, boom, cloud of mallards, boom, another flock of geese, boom. And then they did the same thing tonight. I'm just standing there right by the shop, and they're just diving right into the backyard. Just flock of 20, 30, 40 after another, just boom, 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 crushing right in.
And that's in the corn
So-
where you cut all the corn.
Yeah, right behind the house. Yep, right at the shop.
So all the corn's cut now, CJ. So all those areas where we were seeing the corn's all cut.
Got you.
Of course, he had, you know, Brendan's way of cutting it. He's got to let a little fall out of the side every once in a while.
Hey, that's accident.
Why is the fucking field gold?
I left the hopper open.
Whole
It's,
sweep across the field. What the hell's that?
it's pretty funny listening to that whole process of, you know, Bob wants all the deer dead. Brendan wants to hunt the deer, so he doesn't want all the deer dead. So it's this fine balancing act of keeping Bob happy, but also not killing all the deer.
Like
Yep.
you said, it's a great balance.
It's a good problem to have.
Yep. Yeah, now of course, then you guys leave everything. There's deer everywhere, corn's cut. Man, that rain really put us behind, and that's what really sucks. You know, you guys were prime. The week before, the pre-rut was insane. It was probably one of the most active pre-ruts I've ever seen. And then you guys get here and brought that Texas heat with you, and had that
CJ,
80-degree day at end of October, and it was raining. I'm like, son of a bitch. I thought I was
CJ.
in Galveston.
Well, everybody who kept asking,
How'd the hunt go? How'd the hunt go? It's like, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thought we had a wonderful time. I said, I brought meat back. I said, but we couldn't have asked for worse hunting conditions.
Right.
You got the heat come in, the full moon by the time we left. It was windy half the time, even got some rain. But considering that, we still had great opportunity and brought some meat home.
The
Yeah.
beer was
Can't-
cold, the cigars smoked, and hey,
The beer was cold. That, I mean, the relationships were built. I mean, that's the important part of it. The rest of it's just good stories.
that's it for sure.
This Texas thing's gonna be,
A
I think
shit
that-
show. Fucking shit show.
It's gonna be, I got a feeling that's gonna be a pretty good time. It'll be my first time to actually meet Nate or Bowstring Nate. We've talked over the phone and, exchanged some videos here and there, but he's going to be make sure you're ready to laugh, CJ, because I got a feeling Nate will have you. Brendan does a good job of it, but I think if you add in Bowstring Nate,
Oh,
it's
we
probably
can
gonna
make
be- and then we'll have Dave. Dave can be pretty entertaining sometimes, which I think there's a little bit of, I don't know, you two might be related somehow. You and Dave may have a DNA strand that y'all share somehow or something.
little partial extra chromosome.
Oh yeah, we remember we can't say the R word, so
Yeah, no R words, no R words. That'll get you really fucked.
I also was glad too. I think it was Friday night where you had everybody over. It was Lizzie's birthday. That was fun too, just getting to, sit back, drink some beers. We smoked a few cigars. Oh yeah, by the way, CJ, remember we were told that when we do the podcast that he wanted to tell a story that he didn't tell us during the one of your military stories. Remember that?
Can't
He
remember
was,
what the hell I'm going to tell you though.
I'm sure, because we were
I
drinking
remember this
quite a bit
conversation. I remember this conversation, but now I can't remember what the hell which one it was.
because the beers were going down real good that night.
Yeah, you tell us a
I
story,
was
but
on,
I don't let us know enough about it for us to help you remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. What's
I was
messed
drinking.
up is the ones
I was
that
drinking Rolling Rocks with a lime, so someone could have got fucking pregnant. I would have known.
well, and I was gonna say what was really fucked up was I had already made up my mind that I was gonna stay up, have a good time, and wasn't planning on going out hunting. And I think I'd said that, but Eric ends up showing up to take me and CJ hunting, and neither one of us had even planned on getting up. But the worst part about that is we all went to bed out at 12:30, I think, is when we went to bed. You said you went about the same time.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the crew stayed up till 4, and those guys went hunting.
Well, I was going to say the one thing about that, that night was I was reminded when we're not 25 anymore, so we
No.
had to go to bed.
Yeah, we were definitely the elders of that group.
Hey, I'm not far behind you.
What are you, 32?
31. Going on 58.
Well, that means I'm 58 going on 70.
It wasn't my nerves making my knee jump, it was the fucking arthritis. Yeah.
So what gun season kicks off the 18th?
Yes, sir.
And then it really gets wild around there, huh?
The Orange Army takes over. Hide your 4-pointers and your Alabama pointers because they're gonna get fucking cream pied.
If it's brown, it's down, huh?
You'll see the Facebook posts on the New York State page. Every fucking dude and their brother with their 2 button bucks and their 4-pointer opening day. Just hey, more power to them, but
you showed us the video of the dude that you had actually filmed that shot a
wow.
a yearling or something that he was on your property. He was hunting where he wasn't supposed to be.
In the dark.
He was passing, yeah. He was at my place. I explained it, the craziest thing is my buddy Austin Azinger, Texas fellow. He came up, him and Bowstring. Excuse me. Damn, this Jenny Light's got me burping like a motherfucker. They come up and I'm explaining to them, I'm like, you guys aren't gonna believe the shit that happens on opening day of gun season. And I'm telling them stories and Nate's just laughing and Zinger's just like, no fucking way, blah blah, full of shit. And I was like, all right. And then I do a huge group text every year to everyone around this area that I know I'm friends with. And we all put in a time that we think we're gonna hear the first gunshot. And sure as shit, Austin and I are walking in and I see this truck parked next to my driveway. And I'm like, what the fuck? And he goes, who's that? I'm like, I don't know. So we start walking up and we had half a foot of snow, maybe a little bit more. So and the moon was out, you could see out in the field, there's 50 plus deer standing out in the field. And I'm just looking because I didn't want to go in and blow the deer out. And I'm like, those tracks are going right that way. So I said, fuck it. Austin, I start following them. And then the deer start getting skittish. And all of a sudden, boom. And this is an hour before legal shooting time. An hour. And Austin Azinger looks at me, he goes, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I walked right up to the guy. I took a video. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you, I just take the camera down, the flash on, and it's a fucking button buck. And I'm like, and Zinger's like, dude, I thought you were so full of shit. And then once that legal minute hits, it sounded like World War III around everywhere. Everyone's just hammer cocking all the fucking button bucks and does and just going ape shit.
Man,
But he, that guy really paid the price for what he did. So they took his gun, his truck, everything. He almost fucking shot.
Yeah, that's good. Those guys don't need to be in the woods. We don't need that's that's a danger to other hunters. You shouldn't be shooting that early. And hell, if y'all were right there, hey, what if he would have mistaken one of you as a deer, even though you're wearing orange? It doesn't matter these days. It's pretty common in Colorado for a bow hunter to get shot by a muzzleloader.
Oh, I believe it. I believe that for sure. I think that's fucking stupid that they do the muzzleloader during the same time as the bow. They should do the bow and then right after bow ends, do that 5-day or whatever amount of day they do for the muzzleloader, open it for that because that's fucked up.
I think Colorado is fucked up. Like, I think you get a week. I think we have a week or maybe 2 weeks that's just bow, and then muzzleloader overlap. So it kicks in like halfway in the month. So the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's when it's really cooking too. That's when it's like prime.
You're competing with the muzzleloaders, which it's way easier to do it with a muzzleloader than a bow, because out here is all spot and stock pretty much. Unless you're on private and you can sit up somewhere and wait for them to come by, which I do have a tag, and we'll get to do some of that at Luke's little private spot over here that he's got. But it's just they should have their own. Muzzleloaders should have their own time. Bow hunters should have their own time.
Exactly. Situation like Brendan found there, that guy wasn't doing anything right.
No, wasn't even on the right property.
There's nothing right about what he did. And so for the life of me, I can't figure out how muzzleloaders end up shooting archers, right? I mean,
oh yeah. Well, yeah. How do you not tell the difference between an animal and a person? Unless you're hunting Bigfoot, unless you're out there hunting for Bigfoot. And that I might would understand that one.
Why are your intentions to go to a bar to pick up a 10 and you wake up with a 2?
Hey, different situation. But that guy was.
I'm not good at math, but fuck.
but that guy was
a number, I guess.
Hour before daylight, wasn't even on he was on the wrong property. I mean, he got exactly what he deserved in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
So is that your slug gun you got back there mounted up, ready to go?
That's the bad boy right there. CJ shot that. Did you shoot it as well or no?
No, just CJ.
No, it's like that, man. That's a sweet shooting gun, and for you guys, that's almost like having a rifle there. You can reach out there, get them with that thing.
220 yards. I'm pretty accurate with that gun. It's a 20 gauge bolt action. The Sabbats, 3-inch federal Sabbats out of it, and used to shoot the Remington AccuTips, and they got harder to come by. And Federal came out with a different round last year, and I bought them, redialed it in, and got my Leopold muzzleloader shotgun scope on it, and man, that gun is a piece of machine right there. Like, it is a fucking accurate gun.
Yeah.
275 grain bullet, Sabbat bullet.
Getting those bullets is a pain in the ass in New York.
Holy shit. Wasn't that a pain in the ass?
Dude, if I hadn't seen it, I wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, I don't believe you if you told me it was that hard.
Yeah, they just started that back in September. So, and then obviously when I know that those rounds that I shoot are available to get, I gotta go get them.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
they're $27 a fucking box of 5.
yeah. And then just to, catch everybody up to speed. So you guys have to fill out like, not only when you buy a gun, you got to fill out paperwork when you buy your ammunition.
Yeah, so the same exact process you do now to buy a firearm, you have to fill out the same paperwork and get approved by ammunition in New York.
And
See
it
how
took
long?
you, I think it took you 3 days to get those.
2 days, yeah, 2.5 days.
That's crazy, man.
Yep.
I
For
mean,
5 boxes of ammo.
here, ammo, even as crazy as Colorado is, you can still go buy it pretty much anywhere. And then in Texas, of course, you just you can go to Bucky's and buy. You can get it anywhere in Texas. Of
Yep.
course, I don't know about those rounds. I've never heard of those until, you showed us those rounds. I've never heard of those particular shotgun
I'll
rounds.
grab a box really quick and show you which ones they are.
When are you heading out, Clifford? To your buddy's place?
I'm gonna leave a little early from work Thursday. We're gonna go up Thursday, and so we typically, or sometimes we'll take Monday off and just come back Monday. But we're gonna come back Sunday, so we're gonna leave out of here Thursday, get there Thursday night, then Friday, Saturday, and half a day Sunday maybe, and then head back. So
I got
ought
the
to be a
crew,
good
I got the crew coming out here next week.
crew. Oh, that's right.
Dave
When do
and
they
Tina.
come?
I think they're coming out like Wednesday. Dave, Tina, and the boys are coming. I think they're gonna stay the first night in Denver though. They got a room because she wants to acclimate.
Oh, okay.
Tina, the altitude kicks her ass up here, man. Like she really struggles with it. Like, so they're gonna stay the
Right.
first night down in Denver and then come up. They're gonna rent a car and drive up here the next day.
Yeah,
wow.
Sleeping quarters will be tight. I told him, I was like, one of the boys can sleep on the couch, the one that you slept on that folds out into a bed. I said the other one's gonna have a cot. Is gonna sleep on my hunting cot. And Dave, of course, Dave, they don't, that's fine. They don't care. It's like, did you tell them that before you told them to come out here?
Or they could sleep on the couch in the living room, maybe.
Well, then the dogs will bother them. So, and then
Okay.
there's a good chance I'll have to still be working. So whoever's out in the open area is going to get woke up at 4 o'clock when I got to get up and go into work.
Gotcha. So they're gonna come out Wednesday, but get to your place Thursday.
Yeah, they're going to come out Wednesday. They're staying from Wednesday to Sunday. They fly back out Sunday. Did you find them?
Okay.
Oh yeah, you even showed us some of those that you had that can't, like after you shot them, how they mushroomed.
Yeah, they're unbelievable round. Yeah, they perfectly mushroomed out and petals and everything were all in contact. And boy, they put a hole when CJ shot that pumpkin. It looked like a little hole going in. It looked like a fist came out the back.
Yeah, it
Pretty
almost imploded
sweet.
it though. You could see where it cracked, like that pumpkin. It had cracked the whole face and then blew out the back.
Yeah, yeah, they do the job. I haven't shot a deer yet that went more than 30 yards.
Yeah, that range.
Sweet.
What was that, CJ?
Do you have I was gonna ask Brendan if you had a one in mind, a particular deer that you might be after during the gun season.
I got a couple of them, but I got to focus on Lizzie first. I can't let the secret out. That's a non-public conversation.
Yeah, I was sure hoping that she was going to get hers, that, when the opportunity that y'all had. I mean, I'm hoping in general she just gets it. Like, I'm sure when the rifle rolls around,
She hunts like that. A lot of people don't realize, like, she fucking puts her time in and does everything with me all summer, all spring. And she hunts and she likes to go by herself because I pressured her too much sometimes. And but she sits in her blinds in her stands and she plays the wind. She does scent control with me from the beginning of September. She uses all the women's phase, everything, the lotion, the hair, body, everything. All of our houses scent free. Like all of our laundry and everything is completely cleaned out, deodorized, and we only use scent killing soaps. And and it's just she does it with me, but she has a passion for it as well as I do, and she knows if she didn't do it that she'd be out.
Yeah, what was you calling well, you have that whole room set up in there, which is a pretty cool setup where you have that ozonic. Is it the ozonics?
No, actually, I don't remember the name brand of that machine, but that machine alone is good for 2,400 square feet. But obviously, I keep in that little office room with the clothes hanging on the racks and turn that thing on at night before I go to bed. And before we go hunting, I'd have it on for a little bit, and it creates that little lightning storm and puts it out and it kills the bacteria. And as you could smell it, you're not really supposed to go in there with the machine on. Is probably pretty bad for your lungs, but it really does work.
Oh, I know that one day I went in there. I think me and you both got a little messed up that one day we went in there.
Yeah. I forgot to open the window.
But it definitely, like, I actually just pulled my clothes. I'd put them in the wash, and then I ran, this just through the scent free pods in there, and I used the dryer sheets too. But I could still smell that machine puts out. I could still smell it even after I ran them through the wash. So it holds in there pretty good.
Yeah. It works. I've had a lot of deer just downwind of me, and minus the doe CJ shot, she was just a fucking bitch.
Oh, man. She had spotted a few people before, and she kind of knew what was going on. Because I had actually
crack, she was gone.
Yeah, I had actually, because CJ took a break from that spot before, and I hunted that evening. I went and sit in the tent, and she came out on the other side by that tower blind. She came out looking at that tent, stomping, doing that head bob side to side. And I had purposely shut all the windows except for like little gaps to where I could look through the gaps, because I was like, I don't want her to see me. But that bitch was over there doing the head side to side, stomping, and I was like, and she's 150 yards over there, and I'm like, what in the fuck is wrong with this bitch? Never came. So she kind of worked her way across, and then she disappeared in the woods, and it was almost dark. So I was like, it's too late for me to shoot. I'm going to go ahead and start getting my stuff together. So I closed everything up, put my shit together, unzip the back, step out, stand up, and there she is. She's 40 yards, but it's too dark to shoot. And she's, it just proved her right. And I'm sure in her mind, like, I knew that motherfucker was in there. I see you. And she started, and then she blew out of there. But CJ put that rage on her the next day and ended put the end to all that. But the bad thing is she taught those two little ones exactly how to act.
It hasn't been an issue. It has not been an issue. I sat out there the other night with Machine Gun Mesmer. I love how we give everyone nicknames now, but it was his first time. He actually broke his leg back in August, and he wasn't been able to walk, and he finally is able to walk now, and he wanted to get out, so we went and sat in that blind. We had 17 deer in front of us the whole night. He's waiting for a decent buck, and we just had a good time just shooting the shit. It was the first time I've seen him in a while, and I was like, wow, this would not have happened if he didn't shoot that deer, because that doe would come out. There'd be 10 deer out there. She'd come out, clear the whole fucking field every time.
I mean, the first day that I got off the plane, me and you went and jumped in there real quick, and she was out. Remember, she was out there fucking around that day too, like, because you were like, shoot her. You were telling me, shoot that bitch, shoot her, shoot her. I think
why
Lizzie hunted that stand too one day, not too long after that, because she posted. I remember seeing a video she put on maybe Snapchat or something, and there was a shit ton of deer out there.
Oh yeah, babe, how many did you see that night when you sat out there? Oh, she said she had 11 right in front of her.
Yeah, it looked like
she passed up
at
like 100. Yeah, she passed up a 120-inch 9-point, and I was like, well, why? That would have been your biggest buck with the bow. She goes, I know what's out here, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck.
That's
But
good.
more power to her. She's got some serious discipline for someone that's doesn't have a bunch of mounters on the wall yet, and she will. And
Well,
when you
she
got someone that hasn't shot a big buck yet with a bow, and she's passing 115 to 120 inch buck, that's a good deer.
she knows what she wants.
Oh, she knows. She knows.
And she's gonna wait it out. So that's good. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah, it'll be that much sweeter when she does get it.
Yep, that's why I couldn't believe it last night. There goes my left leg again when I saw that rack, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I'm sitting there trying to, coach her and keep her calm. And I'm like, I'm the one that's fucking tweaking out right now.
Well, I think we seen was CJ, I don't think the very first night I got there after we got back, we went and drove around. I think we seen her buck that one day. Remember, because I filmed him. I have him on my phone where he was walking around the headlights. We
Yeah,
filmed him that
right
night.
across the street from the mailbox.
Yeah, right in the back of the apple orchard there.
Yep.
Because that's right, you weren't there. Yeah, that was the same night that I literally got off the plane and we hunted. And then we went and done. Brendan, he's got to run around with his thermal, checking all the fields all around.
You gotta know who's doing what, who's trespassing. How many people I've caught in the apple orchard stealing shit? It's like mind blowing.
That they know that red Dodge around there well.
You can't miss that thing.
Because we'd be driving down the road, he'd be like, "Take the wheel," and he'd be used. But I will admit that thermal is a game changer when it comes to just like scouting and looking around.
Oh yeah, yep. It's a monocular. It's a rangefinder as well. So that's like the biggest thing is it's your main tools, and you don't go in. You can pull in and look at the field and know where they are, so you're not blowing them out of there. And like now you can go and look. Oh fuck, I can't walk in there. There's 15 deer standing in front of the stand. You just back. As hard as it is, you got to just back out and not hunt that spot because you're gonna fuck it up walking in there in the dark.
It's probably illegal here in Colorado. I haven't checked, but it's probably illegal.
Everything's illegal in Colorado.
Did CJ need to bring his camper?
If possible, that would be badass.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what direction
I forgot, and my wife graciously reminded me. One of my grandchildren has a birthday that Saturday, so I haven't decided exactly how it's going to work for what I'm going to do, but that may have a little bearing on what I do. But if I get a chance, I'll definitely want to try to bring that out there if I come.
Yeah, if it's too big of a problem, if you can't, and it's no big deal. If you're able to come, that'd be great. So
your buddy will pull it for you.
I'm sure he would.
I'm excited to meet Dave.
I'm gonna have to come up with it. We got, I didn't use CJ's handle too much, but I was calling you Let It Fly Locklear for a little bit. Because everybody's gonna have to have a nickname before it's all over with, because you're Broadhead Doma, I think is what
Broadhead
you.
Broadhead Doma, Nate keeps saying, or something like that.
Yeah, Broadhead Doma or Broadhead Brendan or something like that. I said I used CJ. Yours, I only did it once, but I used Let It Fly Locklear. So we'll have to come up. Dave's is gonna have to be a good one though.
Oh boy, I'll get the first night we're there and I get to know him, and I got a couple beers in me. I'll think of something.
Oh, start busting his balls right off the bat.
I'll fuck with him the whole time.
Because he's one that doesn't hold punches either. Like he can be a pretty blunt sometimes, and he doesn't realize how he comes across sometimes. And you're like, he'll look at me and be like, "Was that rude?" And I'm like, maybe, it could have been a little bit.
Say it as you see it. That's how I would say.
But I will say, you talk about like Lizzie Hunting, his wife Tina, she's a trooper too. Like she'll get out there and hunt with the best of them. She wants to be involved in everything. It's funny to sit there and listen to those two. Like they don't hunt in the same stand anymore because they both, just kind of like you're saying, you put too much pressure. Like they just sit in there and bicker the whole time about what to shoot and what not to shoot. So they're pretty funny.
owner.
He's tough on the whole crew though.
Yeah, he can be rough on you.
I think Christopher caught the worst end of it though, because he's got two boys. He's got Austin and Christopher. Christopher's the oldest. What is Christopher? 30? Is he 30?
I don't think he's 30 yet. He's maybe 29. But Cole's
Okay.
28. He's probably, 28 or 29. And then I think Austin is 25.
Yeah, somewhere he's in between Caitlin and Drew, or he's around Caitlin's age. And then so we got kids your age, man. You're like, I'm 31 going on 50. And you're flying into Dallas?
Yeah, flying into Dallas, and Bowstring's pitting me up. He's gonna have this 2 side by side. Well, we'll see now. The Green Mile's down. But the plan was he was gonna pick us up. My other buddies that are coming, they're gonna rent a truck. So plan was he was gonna have the 44-foot gooseneck loaded to the max, both side by sides, another tote of 2,000 pounds of corn. And then we were gonna get there and download and go spice everything up. And I was gonna find a nice little spot by the lake, put a nice pile that I can get my setup all ready for, because he said this weekend when they went there, it was just completely destroyed from the pigs. He said it looked like a fucking minefield.
I don't doubt
That's
that.
what
I
So
don't doubt that. I'll probably
Yeah.
get there late the 14th because I'm going to drive, and it's 15, 16 hours for me. So the first day I'm just going to leave at like 2 a.m. So I'll probably get there, it'll be after hunting time. So CJ, if you go the first day, whenever you figure out, CJ, by the way, is the hardest person the more you get to know him to get commitments. Like, I don't know how he ever got married because he's got commitment issues.
Well, I never know what's going to be planned.
You got to check with all the bosses
Keep on.
first.
Try to
The
keep
whole-
up. Like I said, didn't even ring a bell that the youngest granddaughter's birthday is the 16th, and we hadn't decided, or they hadn't decided on when the party is or whatever. But when you got granddaughters and they call, you have to make that call. But we'll see what we can work out.
What's
You know,
what's the days again? I need to look.
I'm
I know
going
it's
the
14th through.
Thursday to Monday.
Oh, so it's a Thursday.
Yep.
Man, that's like right in the middle of it, CJ.
I know. Yeah, I know. We'll see. Like I said, I'll
You should
work
just
something.
hire 2 electric 4-wheelers.
And
then it'll be okay. And it'll be all right.
I think Dave's there. Dave's got to leave a day or two early too, because he's
He says that now.
he's got to go. He can't get off. Like he can't. His work is his work. It's funny too. The more you get to know Dave, like, you can get off anytime you want. Like, why can't you get off? Like, whenever he's trying to plan something, he's like, just take off. But then whenever it's his turn, you're like, well, just take off. I can't take off like that. And it's like, oh, but when you're trying to get me to do it, you're like, just take off. They don't care. Just do it. Right, CJ?
He definitely to do things with him. It's around his schedule. I'll put it that way. Yeah, you're right. He's like, hey man, he'll call you the night before. Hey, I'm going fishing tomorrow. Let's go fishing. I'm like, well, I gotta work. It's Wednesday.
Yep.
I'll just call in. It don't work that easy.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've got that call. Hey, and it's usually fishing. Hey, let's go fishing tomorrow. I'm like, dude, it's fucking Tuesday. Like, I gotta go to work tomorrow. He's like, just take off. Why don't you do whenever you try? How come when I try to do that with you, like this, like this trip, dude, he was pouting. I couldn't even tell you how bad he was pouting because he couldn't go. Because he was like, you can't go, he's trying to give me his dates. And I was like, well, no, this is, we talked to Brendan. This is the best. He's like, this would be a good time to come. So that's when we're going to go. He's like, well, you can't do it this week instead of that week. And I was like, no, it's already set, man. This is when we're going. But
I plan on going back down in January too. I go to the buddy of mine's got a place in Sonora, and also Duncan's got a place down there as well that they don't even really honestly go to. And fuck, you never know what you're gonna see out there.
well, they're tied in
You never
too.
know.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they tied in with the King Ranch somehow too?
Yeah, there's a whole. So their dad is friends with fucking everybody, and their dad's you're gonna hopefully Mr. Dunkel's able to make it. He's a fucking hilarious motherfucker, great business guy, great, just a true like old school American family. Every one of their kids is great kids and just works hard. And Mills is trying to take over the family business, and then they, their friends that are all involved, they're all big business owners, and they're all just, just a good group of guys, and they just know everybody. It's like a clique.
Yeah.
It's like driving in Texas. How long does it take to get there? What's the answer? 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Yeah, like you could say someone's name down there and everyone knows that person. It's like, how long does it take to get there? Oh, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually looked up their coffee deal. I'm gonna probably order some and give it a try. Like, it's a Texas, Texas company too. They're out of the Houston area, right?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, they're in Belleville. So but they send me stuff all the time, and everyone comes here and I'm like, oh, you want a cup of coffee? And then I get into the whole spiel about them. And they came to my Riggs and Mills came to my wedding. Oh boy. My wedding night, Mills was missing. I didn't give a fuck. It's my wedding night. I was fucking shit faced, and they're like, no, he's seriously missing. And he went to the back. He was like, man, the grass was so fucking soft. And he goes, I laid down and I woke up. It was 5 hours later. He woke up. And, we had a long, they came for like almost a week. So before the wedding. So it was a long couple days before that stretch. And, those guys found their way around pretty well. They had a good time. You'll love them.
The dad's a big bird hunter, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves it. They came out, I convinced them, like, you guys got to come up here for the September goose season. You can shoot tons of geese. You don't have to have a plug in your gun because it's a nuisance season. They want to get rid of these local birds. And the first flock that came in and we all sat up and got shots out there, like boom, 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 boom. They're just dropping. We're looking at each other. They're laughing. They're like, this shit's way better than fucking duck hunting. But it's fun too. We're out there chasing the birds down, and he shot this one goose. He was just like taking off. He was probably 80 yards and no one else is shooting. Mr. Duncan goes, boom. And I'm like, it just fucking crumbled. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck did you hit that thing? And then we're just laughing. And we get up, Mills and I get up, and we're chasing these birds down, like all the cripples out there. And some of them were trying to take off and fly. And Mr. Duncan gets up out of the blind. I got a video of it. And he goes over there, this big, huge goose. He goes over there to try to grab it, and it fucking starts attacking him. We're sitting there laughing our asses off. And that's the best part about it is that's what I love about bird hunting, is because you can sit there and fuck around and joke around, and you don't have to be quiet the whole time, and
you don't have to worry about scent. They ain't gonna smell
yeah,
you.
Yeah. Once they just start crumbling out of the air, it's the best.
I'm sure too. I would be excited to come out and do like spring turkey whenever they're like in the full strut, because as many turkey as I've seen and you have out there, I'm sure the gobbling is unreal.
Oh, it's a freaking blast. I love it. Normally, like the first couple days, like so depending if you got a good flock, but once they really get into it, it is like, I took Elizabeth opening day, we had probably 10 gobblers surrounded us, just all hammering off, and she's never experienced that before. And I built this 410 and had it all set up, and sure shit, gobbler flies down 30 yards away. walked straight to us, and she had the hammer back, safety off. I'm like, okay, go ahead. And I had the camera ready. Go ahead. Boom, 20 yards. She crumbled them. And after he shot them, they're just all still hammered. Oh, just all gobbling at him. She's like, what do I do? I said, fucking give me the gun.
Dude, it's crazy how echoing that gobble, especially when they're close, when they do that boo, and it's like it almost vibrates you sometimes. You're like, holy shit, like you know it's there, but it still
Yep.
scares the shit out of you. Kind of like that
Yep.
doe that you know is gonna blow when she's doing the whole stomping, and you're like, she's gonna do it any minute there. But when she hits that, you're like, oh shit, like it's a lot louder than you expect whenever you actually get to hear it. But anyways, man, well, it was a pleasure getting you guys on and you know, recouping the whole New York thing. And it was obviously a pleasure getting out there.
Fucked up. I
What's that?
literally just got done kicking out my deer. And I was like, man, what is that? I got a fucking tick in my arm.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I told you, well, we were out there shooting bows that one day. Remember, I had one crawl on my phone. Like I was like, holy shit, there's a tick on my phone. Because Eric saw it. I showed it to Eric. You better go
Those
do
Jenny,
some.
those Jenny Light cans taking care of them. Don't worry.
Better go do a search.
Yeah.
Thorough search.
Hey, Britt, get ready. I got to spread them.
But I'll let you guys, we'll jump off here. But again, hey, it was a pleasure. CJ, you got your cup there. It was a pleasure, guys, and looking forward to Texas, and then also looking forward to many more trips out there. And then you know, hey, we need to plan a Colorado one too. Let's do something here. Let's get a group of guys together, and
Got some good magic spots out there. So I think we could put something together.
we definitely have to plan it out though, because here you gotta, you know, you almost gotta
Yeah, a
plan
little
it.
On that one,
Uh,
but
Yeah.
it'd be pretty fun to do one out there too.
I mean, unless you do, you know, if it's the Steamboat area, I think that's a OTC, so you don't have to plan too much
Yes.
there because you
That's
can
where
just go
we would
down and
go.
buy it. Yeah,
So we would go.
that would be easy because you just buy it over the counter. You could even buy it over the counter, CJ.
Oh,
Yours
You
would
haven't,
just
you
be
guys haven't shot an elk yet, so I'll just go just to call and go. I don't need to shoot one. I'll wait until you guys get one.
it'll be a good time. I think we got a lot more experiences and journeys ahead, so I'm looking forward to it. And then let's
Yes.
just stay in touch and let's you know, get in there Texas and see if we can't stack some pigs.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And
ought to be fun.
I'm gonna bring my rifle and my bow just to
I'm gonna bring my
just-
pea shooter and my Speedo, so we'll be good to go.
is it American flag?
You're fucking damn right it is.
All right, man. It was good, guys. Y'all have a good night. We'll catch up later.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right,
All right.
later.